We are previewing Week 9 in the NFL here at SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking right now with returning guest Robert Ferringo from DocSports.com. Robert Ferringo, thanks for coming back with us this week.
Hey, thanks for having me, Peter.
All right. Is there anything you want to promote? Doc Sports, huge handicapper website. Is there anything else you want to promote for that site?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, we're really getting into it now. I mean, we got the NBA started this weekend, college basketball next weekend. This is our favorite time of the year. I know that a couple guys I think there's one college game of the year going this weekend, and then Alan Eastman has a 7-unit NFL game of the year from his famous NFL 411 system. So those are some things to check out. And also, if anybody who watches this video goes to Doc Sports, emails us at servicer@DocSports, or calls in and says that they heard me rapping with Peter Loshak on SBR TV, we will give them $60 credit towards free member picks for whatever handicapper they would like.
Oh, not bad. Thank you very much, Robert Ferringo. That's very generous of you.
We have our moments. Anything we can do to help.
All right. So the game you want to talk about, and actually I apologize because there were a bunch of other games that you wanted to talk about a lot more where you thought you saw bigger edges, but I already assigned those games to other cappers. So the one that we're going to talk about is Panthers at Redskins. This is not your favorite NFL play of the week, but you do still believe that you have some kind of edge on these lines, right?
Yeah, I mean, not my favorite play in terms of the bet. But one of my favorite games to watch. This is one of the most interesting games on the board, I feel like, because of the matchup of these two teams.
Yeah. The Skins are heading into their bye, and the Panthers, of course, they almost beat the Bears last game, and the Skins are off of two very tough road assignments. So now they're coming back in, and basically you're betting, are the Redskins due for a bounce back, or are they just spent and just waiting for the bye, looking to get this game over? If you think they're due for a bounce back, -3 at home is a great price. If you think they're just spent and just not going to be on a full tank of gas for this game, then the Panthers to cover a field goal is probably the bet. What do you like here?
Yeah, thank you. You pretty much just did my work for me. Absolutely. I personally think that they're running on fumes here. I bet against them last week in Pittsburgh because I didn't think that there was any way that they were going to be emotionally able to bounce back from that deflating loss against the Giants the week before. And as you mentioned, they're looking ahead to that bye. They're coming off two tough physical marquee games. Also, over the last 8 or 10 years, we've seen kind of a thing with teams the week after they play the Steelers, because Pittsburgh is such a physical, just menacing team, that teams really have a hard time scraping themselves up off the mat the following week. Carolina, I feel like, is kind of an undervalued team right now. They're just not as bad as people thought, because they weren't as good as people thought at coming into the year. It's like the media and a lot of square bettors, they projected their feelings about this team onto Carolina. And, everyone was predicting playoffs, maybe win their division. And now the fact that Carolina hasn't lived up to those just inflated, unrealistic expectations has everybody ragging on them. And you see this in football all the time, in the NFL all the time. And this is why I bet Carolina last week against Chicago. When everyone in the media or when everyone in the betting public is running away from a team, that's when you want to run towards them. And I feel like that's kind of a situation that we have with Carolina right now.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, everything you said about last week, I completely agreed with. I previewed the Carolina game with Dave Goligoff. We said the exact same thing. They're not as bad as everyone thinks they are. We thought they were a great bet there. The main reason we thought they were a great bet, though, is because they were getting so many points. They were getting only 3. It would have been a different story. And the Redskins, I don't know. I agree with you. I loved the Steelers last week, mostly because the handicapper that I previewed the game with said they were a great bet, and I agree with his reasoning. So I was against the Redskins last week. This week, though, if the Panthers were getting 7.5 like they were last week, same deal as last week, I would say. The Panthers are not as bad as people think they are, and the Panthers are a great bet here, getting 7.5. But getting only 3, I mean, they're not as bad as people think they are, but they are pretty bad, though.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But a couple things is that they've lost, I think it's 5 straight, but their last 4 games they've lost by 2, 4, 5, and 1 points. That's an average of 3 points. And 2 of those losses, they would have covered a field goal line. And those were all against better teams than this Washington team. Also, the Redskins are 0-2 as a favorite this year. They lost already at St. Louis, and they lost at home to Cincinnati. And then even further, the Redskins are 9-25-2 against the spread in their last, 36 games against teams with a below 500 record. A team like Washington, it's kind of easy for them to embrace and get up for that role of underdog, but you see this in all sports happen all the time. You got a team that's been an underdog 5-6 weeks in a row. Now all of a sudden they're laying points, and that's just not a role I'm comfortable playing with them. The other thing, too, is that Washington's defense is horrific. For as exciting as their offense has been and as great as it's been to watch Robert Griffin III, their defense is a train wreck. And I know that a lot of that has to do with injuries, but that doesn't matter on Sunday. On Sunday, they're going to be trotting out 11 guys, and those 11 guys can't stop anybody. Yep. So I am, in my professional opinion, I don't like laying points with teams that can't get stops because the back door is going to be wide open, and Carolina is good enough to win this game. I mean, basically, the Redskins this year are Carolina last year. Mm-hmm. It's like looking into a mirror. And this isn't a big rivalry game, but it is kind of a regional rivalry thing going on. And then when you look at Carolina kind of, wistfully looking at the Redskins as what they were last year, this young, up-and-coming, exciting team, I think that there's a lot of motivation for Carolina. And because of the slight rivalry nature of this one, again, I like the points.
All right. Yeah, and again, I wasn't able to give you your top 3 choices. This is officially your 4th best play of the week. So, in the NFL, your 4th best play of the week is not going to be super strong. And also, if you shop around, you can still get the Panthers plus 3.5 for sure, which is a good thing to do. Thanks so much.
And I like the over.
Oh,
that's probably actually my favorite play in this game would be the over because, as I mentioned, Washington's defense is terrible. I think Carolina is due to break out. They moved the ball against Chicago extremely well last week. They should have had a lot more. I had the over in that game as my game of the month, and I was kind of fortunate to get that one over. But at the same time, Carolina left a lot of points on the field. They've been doing that the last few weeks against better defenses. My favorite play in this one, and it's one I think I'm going to release as a rated play to my clients, will be the over in this game.
Oh, okay. So your pick is not the Panthers plus 3. It is the over, 46.5.
Take them both.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Great preview, Robert. We'll talk to you again soon.